Hey party people, Andrew here at SHOT 2023 with all the new hotness from Unity. Chip, can you tell me about what's going on here?
Absolutely, Andrew. What's up, ARFCOM? I want to show you our new switches for 2023. We're pretty sure that this is going to be the pinnacle of switch technology for small arms. It is called Axon. It's an entire family of product. We've got dual button, dual lead switches, and single button, single lead, single button, dual lead switches. So Axon has pretty much been born from a lot of experience both in the field and in engineering, designing, and developing switches at Unity. We started out with TAPS, that was a program in collaboration with TNVC. We've done stuff for Mod Lite with the Mod Button Lite and the Mod Button, and our own Hot Button series. And a lot of years of coming together of design development have led to Axon. So Axon is going to be the shortest dual button, dual lead switch on the market. You're looking at about 2.7 inches front to back. So super shorties like SBRs, Rattlers, MP7s, little rail estate that you've got, that's going to be perfect.
Those cute little tiny 9mm folders everybody likes nowadays.
Yeah, the little girl guns.
Fits in a pizza box.
So,
Girl gun.
I call it like I see it. So, when it comes down to switchology, when I'm teaching...
Switchology. I like it.
That's trademarked. I need a nickel. So when it comes down to switchology or any controls on the weapon, when I'm teaching, I'm all about telling guys and gals, look, if you can do it in the dark, you can do it in the light. But the inverse of that isn't necessarily true. So you need to have full control over everything on the weapon in the dark, under feel, light, dark, hot, cold, gloves, wet, dry, whatever. Fire control with the primary hand, and then accessory control with the secondary support hand. And that's where a lot of accessories have kind of fallen down over the years. You get a lot of afterthought style switches. Axon is your complete command and control, starting out not just with the size, but with the shape. We've got this ramped up 45 degree and a flat button, so major tactile difference. You're not going to mistake, even with heavy winter mitts that the Army issues, you're not going to mistake the upright button for a flat button. When your hands are frozen in the cold or they're wet, you're not going to mistake that for the upright button to the flat button. So that's huge. A lot of other switches, including ones that we've made in the past, are basically just in line. And it's kind of hard, especially under stress, figuring out which button is which
If you
device.
can feel where the end of it is, but that means you're hunting around for which end of this is.
Exactly. So the other thing that we're going to have with this switch is we have complete control. So we have momentary and constant activation capability for both light and laser.
So we push in part way on this switch and we're momentary.
Momentary, yep.
And if I click.
Exactly. So it's going to work just like the clicky cap on the back of a weapon light or a handheld light. And then on the pad here, just like all NATO spec lasers, press for momentary, double tap it for constant. That's not something that's actually happening in the switch. That's something that's programmed electronically into the laser, and the switch is just activating that. So you've got, no matter what, with that remote switch, complete control, momentary and constant. And that momentary and constant is super important because you want to be able to run your devices in a momentary capacity, but sometimes you need to keep it on there. And if anyone has ever, like cops or warfighters, has had to hold someone at gunpoint with a white light for, a minute or more, your thumb starts to cramp up if it's a momentary only switch.
For sure.
So here you can just click it on.
Well, not only that, you may need to be able to see while you're doing other things.
Right. Pushing something open,
opening
using
doors,
your hand,
moving people
holding
around.
Holding a dog, all sorts of things.
Non-lethal techniques, all of that stuff that has to happen with your other hand, we don't want to do in the dark.
That's perfectly well said. Axon will go direct onto Picatinny or M-Lock. So the M-Lock kits are going to be sold separate because probably 95% of end users are going to put it at the 12 o'clock rail. That's just data that we've kind of collected from sales for the past 5 years.
Well, not only that, if you want this, I know this is practically heresy, but
let's hear it.
Picatinny is going to be more adaptable than M-Lock.
It is.
You're probably going to run it on top.
Yep.
And if you really want to run it on M-LOK, a million other companies make a Picatinny to M-LOK adapter. You know?
Exactly. But with ours,
so it makes a lot of sense to do the Picatinny first.
You take these rail grabber wings off, and there's a little cover that you just pop out, and we have an M-LOK adapter piece that is this footprint, goes right underneath, it keys right into M-LOK.
Nice.
You drop the screw through, and
so
the
you don't
M-LOK
gain any
nut.
height.
What's that?
So you don't gain any height.
Exactly. And we actually designed that off of some of these smaller rails, so it's still going to fit at the 2 and the 11 o'clock positions if you so choose.
The ones that sit a little bit closer with less clearance on the
Exactly,
side.
the nice thin rails that a lot of these companies are using. So perfectly adaptable to pretty much any kind of rail system. And then with our leads, our standard, we kind of had the whole family right here. Our standard is going to be a Surefire style plug and a mil-spec NATO crane style plug. So the standard version, buttons are going to be mutually exclusive. This is going to be your light, that's going to be your laser, done. The sync model, this is going to be your laser, this is going to fire both light and laser simultaneously. One thing you have to be cognizant of, this is going to fire the laser in whatever mode it's physically set to.
Yeah.
So if it's in IR and you're shooting white light out, if you're on two-way range, you have to be cognizant of, if you're holding someone at gunpoint, you might be putting IR out there unless it's turned off. So moving on to the NGOL version, the NGOL LA23, that's the standard issue for SOCOM right now. It has some specific electronics built in, and we actually buy the lead assembly direct from L3, so it's completely their proprietary part, and this will actually function with, this is going to be your laser in whatever mode, this is going to be light and laser with Viz override. So even if we've cranked this guy up to dual high output IR, you hit this, you're going to get white light and Viz red laser.
Okay.
And then on the D-Ball A3 version,
because there's not really any point to radiating IR if we're blasting out white light.
More or less, yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine a use case where an IR laser would be preferred over a visible laser if we're already using white light.
There's some instances, if say you're under nods, and night vision is a fixed plane focused device, so our eyes are going to immediately focus near far, but our night vision goggles won't do that. So we're going to focus the goggle at an expected engagement distance, and if you're doing CQB and you go into an unknown room and it happens to be a short room like a bathroom or a closet, you don't know that going in, your goggles are focused too far out to be able to resolve anything that's going on. So you can blast that with some white light and see with your peripherals,
of course,
what's going on there. So
but
you might have,
but you don't need an IR laser in that situation.
You don't, but if you have your IR going, because that's how you're aiming and engaging, so
gotcha.
it could work. With the D-Ball A3, it's got that unique dual port in the back. And the outside one's going to be your mode select, inside one's going to be Viz laser, or Viz override, and we do a unique Y splitter cable here. So this is actually going to work on a D-Ball A3 only, not its PECs and APLs and things like that don't have that capability, but this is going to be your laser in whatever mode it's selected to. This is going to be light and laser Viz override on the D-Ball A3 model.
Okay.
And then we also have our Axon SL, and these are basically going to be chopped down versions of Axon, and it's just going to be the single button. So upright 45-degree angle, momentary and clicky for your white light, upright 45-degree angle, press and double tap for constant for your standard crane style plug lasers. We've got the NGOL version, and for NGOL we can do a mode select where it's going to fire whatever mode this is set to, or a Viz override. So if you wanted to go direct onto here, onto the fire for your mode select, and this be a Viz override, you could do that. And then we have this unique single button dual lead version that's going to go firing both devices simultaneously with one press. So Axon, we're pretty sure that this is going to be where the future of switches for small arms is going. They've been hugely popular with our dealers, our end users, military, law enforcement already, and it just dropped on January 10th. So we're super excited for 2023 and bringing Axon out there. The full Axon suite up here is already shipping. Axon SL is going to start shipping to dealers in March.
Okay. This is shipping now. This will be March.
March for
the single button version.
Now and March, exactly.
Now, obviously, the pricing is going to change a little bit depending on which models. But can you walk us through a little bit?
So for the standard models, for Axon, you're looking at about 154. For Sync, it's I believe right around 170. For the NGOL version, because the cable is very expensive, you're looking at MSRP of about $299.
Ooh.
So, hey, you know, it's an expensive laser.
That government contract cable is
and the end users who are issued that laser probably don't care about the price too much.
For sure. anything that's got an NSN attached to it can command a premium.
Exactly.
These things look like pure sex. They are handsomely designed, but I really do legit appreciate the way it feels.
Tactile is needed. You've got to be able to do it in the blind, in the dark.
It makes a lot of sense. As soon as you put your hands on it, it feels, yep, that's the way things ought to be. And to be honest, I expected a little bit higher price point on these switches. You're positioned at a premium place in the market. Everybody loves Unity, even if they're not running nods. They got to have the Unity mounts just to flex on the IG. You know. So
God bless them.
Thanks for not really sticking it to us and giving us a product that delivers at a reasonable price. That's awesome. Thank you.
That's our goal. Constantly innovating, and all made in the U.S.
Well, Chip, thank you for putting up with my crap. Thank you for putting out a really handsome looking product at a good price.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking the time to walk us through all of this stuff, and thank you
pleasure.
guys for watching. If you have the time, please hit our sponsors up because we couldn't do this without them. I love you.